So I hope this is giving you a better view of things with the camera on my left like this. I don't have instant access to it. I have to pick it up in order to turn it on and off, which I have to do quite frequently, as I keep saying, because of the time constraints of the video segments, and also because I don't think my viewers need to or want to necessarily watch every stroke I make, because that would make for a very, very long video. And since I'm only allowed 15-minute videos at the moment, being new on YouTube, I just end up having to make too many parts of videos, and means people might not actually watch all the parts, so I'd rather just show less and have people watch more of what I do show, so that they can understand my painting process and understand what they want to do. They want to follow along or do their own thing completely. Maybe they have other ideas. Maybe there's someone out there who's got a better idea for using Dutch paws. If so, please let me know in the comments, because I think this is a wonderful use of Dutch paws, and I'm so glad that I came up with this idea, because I stopped doing Dutch paws, acrylic paws, for a while, simply because I saw too much of the sameness in them, and the only thing that was different was the colour combinations. How you laid them out, how many metallics you added, or how many pearlescent colours you added, and that can only take you so far. I mean, there are endless combinations, but again, what's the point? Anyway, so now I'm going to add, if I can find it, the little bits of the brown, the raw umber to the center here. This might not be the ideal brush, but then again, do they have to be little dots? No, they don't. So this will just allow the gold to shine through, while at the same time creating that illusion of the center of the sunflower. And of course, it's not the end of the story, because I might... Well, it seems I couldn't bear to put my paintbrush down, so after I've covered the canvas with all the red and the orange, I decided to add some, and then I covered the background with the white. I've decided now to add in the leaves while the paint is wet, because I've got dark, it was sap green, but it's quite dark, and I've got cool green, which is also dark, and I'm mixing them together, and I might add whatever red I've got left, or whatever orange, because there is a bit of that in the leaves as well. And they are quite large leaves. They're actually larger than the sunflowers, which are not as big as this. This is very unrealistic, and in proportion to the bird, also very unrealistic. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I could have made 2 sunflowers out of that, or 3 even, but I didn't. So I'll just make big leaves like this. And it's not much sap on there. Not enough sap at all. So I will do the leaves before worrying about finally filling in the background in whatever shade is necessary. So that's one leaf. I need to think about where I'm putting these leaves, otherwise they won't fit in. So I'll do one this way. And if there was a stalk, it might be coming down here, or it might be going through there. And that's going to look odd here. So we won't put in a stalk at all, just leaves. So and so I will continue. I couldn't leave my painting, so I added in the leaves, and I added them in green first, and then I did the background with the same green, but because the background is white and I used very little green, it came out a nice light green. And then I added some red onto the leaves, the same red that's in the flowers, just so that they're not a dull green. And I just outlined the body of the bird in red, which I'm now going to just smudge with the paintbrush, just so that it's not such a stark outline. I'm just going to do that. And I've really overstayed my welcome on this chair. I can hardly move, literally glued to it. So that looks a bit better. And then my only decision left is whether to sort of make a circle either in brown or in yellow, just to highlight that center, or just to bring these markings down to a place where they all kind of naturally form the center like this. So then I don't need to paint in a center. Sometimes it's what you think is there even when it's not. That forms what you want to. So for now I'll leave it like that. I'll come back and look at it tomorrow morning. I'm definitely leaving it now, and see if there's any further changes I need to make. Any additions of red, like here, whenever I add red here, it just keeps going into the green, so I'll leave that bit that I definitely have to add tomorrow. Today I'm adding a bit of deep center of the flower. I'm just dragging it out a little bit, so I'm going to lose a little bit of that center part of the original painting, but not too much at all. I'll wipe away what I think is excessive, just to add some depth to the painting, because I looked again at photos of these hybrid red sunflowers, and they do have quite a bit of purple in them, deep in the center. So at least that's what I'm seeing, but anyway, it doesn't matter whether they do or they don't. I think it's just adds some depth, and just will give a nice finishing touch to this painting. And then I'll also add a little of this purple, just fan it out, and you get probably a lot of different varieties of this hybrid. One thing is that they all have a very large centre, much larger than this one in proportion to the petals. The petals seem quite short, and the centre takes up most of the flower. I guess for pollination, that's a good thing. So I'm going to just do that, and then quickly add a little bit of purple in between some of the flowers, instead of just the red. adds sort of another dimension, just to bring out those other colours of contrast. Maybe one more down here. That's enough. So I fanned it out a bit more with the centre part, and then I took the cloth and I just wiped it outwards as well. So now it appears more of a centre of depth in the flower. The petals going down into the, see this is going down into the centre of the flower. And so now I'm going to just, with some deep red, not the medium red I was using, I'm going to just make some points in these petals, because that is what they seem to have. They don't seem to be so rounded. And again, I don't want to lose the colour that there is, and there might be a second layer of petals in between. I'll just add some red in there. Not completely pointed, roundish point. Parts are also pretty, but it's harder to see that it come at you quite the way these do. And here there was just a little bit too much white, like there as well. So I added a little bit of red and orange, and then I brushed it away, kept wiping off the brush, and it was so wiping with the dry brush. And then I dragged it with the cloth, just to cover that stark whiteness that looks a bit better. There's nice pink and white there, the white's not too bad. Then in the bird, I've left a lot of the original colour there and there in the tail. So I was able to preserve a lot of the original painting, and I added a lot of different coloured leaves just to make the background more natural. Yellow, ochre, red, and green mixed together, just more colourful generally. And so I didn't have to cover every inch of it with leaves, but I just wanted to, and I just think it looks nicer. That's a particularly pretty section there, but I'm glad I was able to save. And one thing this painting has really taught me, just reinforced, is that you have to just make a brief, rough outline of your painting that you want to do in whatever colour you're planning to keep the painting. And it's hard to see, and so especially if it's one of the colours that's in the painting, like the red, that it's probably best to do that than to try and use white, which you then have to paint away, and you might lose some of your painting in the process. So that's what I'm going to do in future. And although again I might be running out of painting soon, and I'm going to have to rely on new paintings that I do, where I specifically pour them out in order to do a painting. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the painting. Please like and comment and let me know your thoughts. Bye for now.